A warm welcome to today's episode of Beer Talk. It is always about tale to inspire. The quest for riches has taken a new dimension. Our today's guest will be sharing with us his story. There are things that you can do in life just to earn a living, and the consequences are kind of severe. Tutaweza kusikia his story today from going to the Gulf to work as a laborer to being now a prostitute or a prostitute for that matter. So I want you to listen to his story tuweze kujifunza because it's things that are happening in our society today. We can't run away from them, but we want to listen to his narration ndo tuweze kujifunza. Karibu sana. So karibu sana kwa show. Kabla tuendelee, naomba ujitambulishe, utuambie wewe ni nani, umetokea wapi?
Mimi kwa majina naitwa Mama Sweto. Jina kujulikana all over, but you can call me Collins.
Okay.
Na mimi nimetokea pande tu ya East Africa. Nasema babangu ni Mkenya Mtanzania. Mama ni Uganda.
Okay. Collins, imekuaje because you have a story na it's a really big one, sad at the same time, but all in all tunashukuru Mungu you are here. So you can tell us hiyo safari ilianza wapi?
Mimi naweza sema nimekaa most of the time Uganda na Tanzania na hapa Kenya, but most nimesomea Uganda. I used to live with my grandmother. So nikasoma, sikumaliza ile shule ile kabisa. Nimemaliza but sikumaliza. Unajua Uganda unafika form 6.
Yes.
Na sasa nikafika form 4. Maisha nikaona ni ngumu, nikaona hapana, acha nifanye nini? Nipate njia ya kwenda South Africa. So uzuri wetu kwetu, kuna watu walikuwa wanaenda nje kwenye wako in our, we can say in our clan. So my uncle used to work in Johannesburg in South Africa.
Okay.
And so alikuwa akaniambia anaishi Soweto. So nikamuuliza uncle, I would like to travel to South Africa to see South Africa, to explore South Africa, to work in South Africa, and to at least to see how I can earn good money in South Africa.
Okay.
So he processed for me the passport, the good conduct, everything.
All the documents.
All the legal documents. Na ilifanyika haraka. You know, in Uganda haraka, then alikuwa na connection. So tukaanza safari kutoka hapa by bus. I didn't use air transport. So tukatoka Uganda mpaka Tanzania mpaka hadi Malawi, Zambia and Zimbabwe. You know, in Zimbabwe there's illegal crossing. There's River Limpopo, and there's better bridge in Zimbabwe, Mushini in South Africa.
Okay.
So do you know there's a smuggler person who smuggles you, or those army wanajeshi. So when you stand at the border, you must give them 50 rand. They smuggle you to South Africa.
Okay.
So angaka kaniingiza South Africa. Uzuri na alikuwa na connection. So I used to work in Limpopo province. I used to harvest some apples, some grapes, and taking care of elderly men. So I used to wash them, and at least doing some other chores like cleaning the house. Even I used to go with them and I help them how to cook. You know, I'm a talented person. I know how to cook. Because during the time of cooking, I cook for you the biryani, the mahamris, the what. Because do you know as Tanzanians and Kenyans, we know to cook because we are from coastal province.
Okay.
So when I was working in South Africa, do you know in South Africa there's xenophobia, and if you want to escape the xenophobia, you must learn their language. So I used to stay in Limpopo province, and you know in Limpopo province there are three communities. We can say Tsonga, Ndebele, and the Venda. So then I used to stay in the Venda area in Gogabel, in Gogabel village. So after kufanya kazi huko, nilikuwa nang'ang'ana. Unajua hiyo dini, nilikuwa na dini yangu lazima nifanye kazi ndio nifanye nini? Ndio nilipe hiyo dini yake.
Okay.
Nikasema mimi hii pesa nalipa deni kama nafanyia deni, let me go out, shift to Joburg. So when I was in Joburg, I can say in Joburg, but you know, in Soweto, Soweto it's a town on its own. So I really started working as a gay. Nilipata hiyo kazi ya kuuza sim tu.
Okay.
So I met my how I was being involved in that work. I met my friend from Zimbabwe, Malawi. But you know, the Zimbabwean had more connection and more network, so he could look for you for a customer. So we can say it's like a pimp. So you know the pimp, but you know, at least you can say it's not the pimp like in America. So it's the one connected. You know, the client who is coming to you, he must pay him the commission.
Yeah.
Then you find like after you have slept with him, it depends with the connection. So I asked him, how shall I do that thing? And the gate process. He told me, I will teach you. So he taught me, he explained to me. Do you know, in South Africa, do you know, South Africa, it was being legalized by the government. So even you could even have the marriage certificate. So when I was my first time, I met with an African man, Afrikaner. No, not African. Do you know that African is a language? It is a language which is being invented from the Dutch, the Boers, the Namibian Xhosa, and all of that.
Okay.
So the man really liked me. You know, when I offered him my services.
Yeah.
And
that was your first time?
And I felt the pain. You know, when it's your first time, you feel pain. You really even wonder, but you know, he paid me very well.
Okay.
And after all, I got used to that work. And I said, let me go on. The man was so sweet. Even that man, he became my husband.
Okay.
So I used to cook for him, you know, and he really wondered. Yes, me, I read Arabic because I used to cook those, you know, Swahili dishes. It is similar to the Arabic. You know, my mother, she's a Nubian. So you know, Nubian, they at least they have got assimilated to the Arabs.
Okay.
So you cook those kurusadin, kurusamula, you cook biryani, you cook kubus. So when I was working in South Africa, life, it wasn't easy.
Yes.
So do you know, you find like challenge. My first challenge, it was when I slept with the Zulu man. He refused to pay me.
Okay.
Then he started insulting me and calling me Magwergwer. Do you know
what's that?
Magwergwer is a language in Zulu. It means you are an outcast. You are a foreigner.
Okay.
So he told me, you Magwergwer, you have come to steal our Omusegebenzi. You know me, I'm being used to those languages. I know how to speak Venda, most of the time Venda and Zulu, and a little bit of Xhosa and African. So, and I asked him, what brikani wala ni highway? Do you know what's wrong to me in my phone? The network is not functioning. I don't have the credit. So he didn't care to get out of the room. But so I told myself, let me start doing what? Being used to my man, at least Afrikaner, he pay me very well. So we started living together in the same house because you know, paying rent in South Africa, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So he helped me to pay my uncles those expenditures because he had spent on me to travel to South Africa.
Okay.
And you know, my family didn't knew I was working as a gay in South Africa. And I thank my God because you know, sometimes gay can bring you HIV, HIV virus. Then when I was staying with that man, I stayed in South Africa like for 1 good year.
Okay.
Working there, South Africa started attacking foreigners, attacking Nigerians, attacking Malawi. So I really said to myself, no, let me return back to my car because I have enough money, which it will. So after returning back to Uganda, I don't have spent money. I've done most of my things. I've bought my own land, least. So I really got broke. So I I started working in the farm. So I said, this money of the farm in the village is too small. Let me do what? Travel to Kampala to see if I found greener pasture. So when I reached Kampala, there's a woman who used to be in the village coordinated me that work, because his son was traveling to Dubai. So I met an Arab man who employed me as a cleaner. I used to sweep the dried leaves on the compound. Yeah. So after sweeping them, one day I was sweeping and I heard his son saying about Saudi Arabia. And most of our people, they used to work in Saudi Arabia. We used to work even in Iraq, in Oman. So I really said like myself, Saudi Arabia is like United States of America. Because I used to write that it is a rich country. They usually bought gold. Do you know that man? When I was working, the son of that man, I explained to him and I told him I have a passport, but I do not have the commission. Do you know, as men, we don't go on free visas. Okay. We go on commission. So, and most of us Nubians, we used to go to see witches, sorcerers. So those sorcerers, they invent you, they see your future. They take your hands and they tell you, let them see how when you go to Saudi Arabia, how your life would be. Will it be worse or better? Okay. So mimi nikasema wacha nifanye nini, niendelee kwenda kwa waganga. Nikaenda, mganga akaniangalia, akaniambia Saudi Arabia utaenda. Walikuwa watatu. Mwingine akaniambia but huko kuna vitu utafanya mbamba, because wewe unaonekana wewe ni mjanja. Kaambia okay, let me go. I was still. So nikabidi nikafika. So unajua lazima pia niende dawa. Ilikuwa dawa confusion, confuse Mwarabu. Nione vile venye atafanya, lazima nifanye nini? Lazima kwa chini yangu. Mimi nikaenda kwa Mwarabu, nikamwekea kwa chakula dawa. So nikampatia sim 2. So after offering him sim 2, he processed for me the good conduct, the medical, the ticket.
So now this whole thing of sim 2 ilikuwa imekuwa in use sasa. You are using it to maneuver in most
ways. Okay. So I got used to it. Like for example, you can say the prostitute from Koinange. You can tell him to stop her work. Because you see this like this, you get man easy, you can maneuver faster. So mimi akaniprocess everything with weeks. Na akanipatia pia pesa kidogo nini. Nisaid my grandmother. So nikafungua account, akaanza kufungua account. Account yangu ikakuwa na pesa yenye nitakuwa nikiwekewa. So mimi nikasema acha nifanye nini? Niende. Nikatoka from Entebbe airport to Ethiopia. Vile sikumbuka zini Asmara,
connection. Connection. You are connecting.
Do you know there's an airport in Ethiopia? I don't even remember the name.
Okay.
Do you know the airport? It looks like you may even think you are in a country which has war. You even wonder, is this an airport? Do you know that's the way they used to smuggle us to Saudi Arabia? Okay. So after I traveled by the air, I reached Riyadh. After reaching Riyadh, my boss took me direct from the airport, and I went to the dorm. I met Nigerians, I met Filipino, Indonesians. So we started, and I asked them how those people, they were very kind. And me, I used to speak English, a little bit of Arabic. So we became friends, and I started working as a cleaner. I used to clean walls. Unakuta una clean walls huku juu, unaosha ukishatoka hivyo. So that person was a broker. So after all, I used to migrate from to one place to another. I work as a cleaner here I work as a chef, here I work as a gardener or as a laborer. And Saudi Arabia is a desert country. Okay. That country is hot and dry. And you find the weather. It is not really easy. You must cope with it. Then sometimes you work the whole day, they give you leftovers. For example, you might go, or that broker might send you to a hotel. So you find the manager after working as a cleaner or after finish cooking, they do not give you the fresh food. They give you the leftovers, which customer they have left. So they pick it all together, they give it to you. And you know, as me as Mama Soweto, I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. Because you know, to become a legend or a hero, even of the people in the dome, they used to ask me, why are you a man and you call yourself Mama Soweto? So do you know me? I told them that name, Mama Soweto, nobody has that name.
Yes.
Then that name, it is South Africa, I used to trend with it because you know they. I met with the Zimbabwe. You know, even there was a Zimbabwean who used to work with him in Gulf. So you know the Zimbabwean, even he really asked me, how do you know how to speak South Africa? Do you know when you have known how to speak the Bebele, you may know how to speak Zulu. For example, when you know how to speak the Kikuyu, you have known how to speak the Meru language. You can really understand a little. But you know, for example, when you learn how to speak Yisu, you have learned how to speak the Bukusu. So most of the words, 90% of the words in the Bele and Zulu, they assimilate. There's no way you can gossip a Zulu. There's no way a Zulu can gossip a Ndebele because he has it. He may know the words which you are gossiping him. So when I was in Saudi Arabia, the money which I was being paid, it was little. So it was 1,500 years. That was small amount of money. Do you know in South Africa, at least they used to pay me 20,000 South African rand. That is the least is best. You can even pay your house in Soweto. You can even eat kebab and meat.
Yes.
And you know, when I was there, I started looking for the way to maneuver. So, and I asked people, do you know, most of the people in the dome, they have got rice plan. So, do you know, my first customer was a Nigerian in Gulf. I slept with him, so he gave me 1,500 riyal, Saudi riyal. So, do you know, I was being used to it. Do you know, the cameraman might not see you. So, you must do what? Give cameraman a small thing, or you offer him sex service.
Yes.
So you do what? Turn off the camera, and we go on. Do you know, because we used to live in a dorm. Like for example, I used to sleep even with 5 men, with 4 men. It depends.
Per day.
Yeah. As long as you pay me, I'm at my work, and I do not care. I do not care. Then, because at least, and life started getting better, because you know my grandmother used to be sick, but you know I really saw like the health was going better because I used to send her money to put for me and to do other domestic use, so he could eat very well and relax. Do you know, when I used to work there, I used to invade to explore most of the place. Do you know in Saudi Arabia there's Riyadh, Medina, Jeddah, and Danam. So do you know, like, is this Saudi Arabia? Okay, you may see even some parts of the village. I didn't even know there are some Saudi Arabians who are poor. Everywhere, even if in every country, you may see the richness, but they have got even the poor background.
Yeah.
So when I was working, it became like 1 year, 6 months. There's a day our employee didn't pay us our salary on time, and you know we used to work as a slave. That person, he has your passport, and there's no way you can Kimboi. There's no way you can Kimboi. You might, or you can say go to another place without your passport, or do you know Kimbois? You can say Kimbois, they are employees who run away from their employers. For what? To look for greener pasture. You know, when they have run away, they look for a house. There's a person who we can say the dalala. For the women we call the dalala, but I don't ask. You find, like, for example, as we can find an African who has stayed in Saudi Arabia for more than 20 years. He knows the panya route, and he knows Saudi Arabia which works. So do you know when you go and stay there, you must know how to collaborate with him.
Yes.
How you can collaborate to pay the house, to buy the food, because you know they are to pay the house in Saudi Arabia is so expensive. And it is not really easy because even the food is expensive. And those foods, they are inorganic. Even there to find even the flour of maize, it is not really easy. Sometimes at least rice is a little bit of cheaper. And those and the flour of wheat, because you can cook them kubus, you can cook your cake, at least, but you cannot depend on cake or eat every day those kubus. So after me seeing those expenses, I told myself, let me do what, wacha nivumilie, wacha mimi nivumilie and to see the way forward.
Ukiendelea kufanya ile biashara.
Nikakaa nao, nikaendelea pia nikapata hata makasoma Waarabu wanalamba mpaka na mimi. So unajua tunaniambia mbona even so in the comment section. So when I was used to go, unapata bring ni mpesa Mwarabu anakupeleka huko ndani. Kumbe sasa anaendelea nitakazi. Sasa unajua mimi naenda namsaidia na mpatia services, wakati nimeshamaliza kufanya kila kitu ndio tunatoka kwa mwaka ile nibeba na gari hivi tunaenda. Na unajua nilikuwa nalipwa vizuri, at least nilikuwa natuma pesa nyumbani, najua hiyo pesa naekewa. Kumbe acha nikwambie YouTuber, nadhani ni kurahisi, kumbe watu wanakula pesa zangu wakijienjoy nazo. Na mimi najiuza simu tu, mimi nikiangalia kujiuza simu tu, ningana kufanya kazi.
Nyumbani wanakula pesa.
So mimi nangana kufanya kazi ya YouTube, na kufanya si YouTube, nangana kufanya kazi ya labor, nikijiuza pia simu tu pia. Na pia nikipata hizo tips, unajua unatuma direct. Si kwa tunatuma kile, unajua muda mara baada ya pesa kwa umetoa wapi. So unatumia shop kuweke. Wewe ile chenye niliona kiliniramba. So hiyo siku sijamaliza baada na story. Kuna siku nilikuwa nakuelezea. Huko Ethiopia Ethiopia akaanza kugoma juu tulikuwa tumelipwa mshahara. So after striking, our Arab said, I shall sort you out. And he asked us, who started the strike? So I told him, the person who started the strike, as we told him, was an Ethiopian. Do you know we were being told to Tupande juu ya ghorofa? Let us go up the building. So the Ethiopian man was being thrown from up the building to down, and he died. And no action was being taken. So, and I really wondered, how is this country? Do these people have humanity? Do they know even the right of workers? And you know, we used to sleep for 4 good hours. Because you know that is not really, you're not really resting. And you know, when the time of Eid and Ramadan reaches, you can't even sleep. You're still working. You find
there's so much work to do.
Yeah. And you know, as a human being, your body is not like a robot.
You need to rest.
Yeah, you need to rest, and you feel, us as human beings, we feel exhausted. So, and I really told myself, let me do what? See the way forward. At least let me see the way I can survive. So, because it was like 4 months remaining to finish my contract. So I met my friends who told me about how to survive, how I can convince my boss when I go. Do you know, he asks you, when you travel back to your country, shall you return? So you cannot tell him no, because you know he has your passport.
Okay.
He may even refuse
to give you the passport.
To give you the passport. Or hand it over to you, your passport. Because you know the passport in foreign countries, it is like your own identification card. So after working for a good month, it finished. But you know, I used to work to work as a gay prostitute.
Yes.
So I finished. My friends, they're telling me, we're gonna miss you, we're gonna miss your services. And I told me, I will return back. So after taking over a flight, I turned up to my country, and the life, it wasn't easy.
You're back now to Uganda
to
again.
Uganda to Entebbe airport. Do you know? And they have started. When they saw me, we can say they looked weird.
Yeah.
Or we can say they looked like they were weird, or we can use another word. You know me, in terms of English, I like speaking my mother tongue. Like, but I can say at least I I speak frequent English. And they started and I asked them my money. They sent me at you're okay. So after working all along, I found in my account they have put me only 100,000.
From all the money that you've been
Sending, and it was more than that. So, and I got another connection. After all, I paid away, and I went to work in Egypt, in Cairo.
Wow.
So working in Egypt, I worked there for 4 good months. Do you know if I really find you can say how cruel employer. You know, and working in Egypt, Egypt you can say it's just the same as Africa, but at least Egypt is a developed country. It's one of the biggest 5 in Africa.
Yeah.
So I took an Egyptian airline from Uganda. It was a direct flight. You know, after in Egypt I reached Cairo.
So you are going to work in Egypt, yes? As what? As a laborer?
As a laborer.
Okay.
So I was working I was working somebody. I was working, we can say Shagala, or I'm Shagala, or I'm boy. You know, women they're Shagala, or me I'm a boy. So I'm working in a house. I would be washing utensils, cooking, because I've got the experience. When they had my experience in South Africa, in Saudi Arabia, most of them when they see you in Saudi Arabia, you know you have got the experience. And you know me, in terms of cooking, I'm being talented. I know to cook Arabic foods and Arabic, even Arabic gari. When the first day, I used to work in that house. I didn't even sleep. I reached in that day, and they just started showing me, you'll be working here, you'll be working here. Even, you know, the first day, even if when he arrives in your house, you must let him or her to rest. And in the next day, in the morning, you start showing him or her what he shall be proceeding to work, or what he may be doing. I worked, so I started washing the utensils, cleaning the house, cleaning the walls. And you know, they give me one boil of rice in the strong tea. And you know, I've worked the whole day. So it's like they are mistreating me, because you know, it's a worker. You must eat very well, so that you may get an energy of working. So me, I became rude, and I Camboyed. After Camboyed, I was being deported from Egypt.
What?
And I returned to Uganda, and I came to Kenya, and I stayed in Kenya for so long, because you know, this is the pattern of the story. I've stayed in, I can say I stayed in Kenya. Even I used to travel even to Malawi to look for other ways to Botswana and Namibia.
You really had chances to work in other countries.
Because of my experience. You know me, I've got connections. But now I can say I don't have the connection because of the money. So, and I can show people my passport. So, this passport of Kenya. Let me show them. This one. So, you know, my father, he didn't process for me any. So this is my passport.
Okay.
So after all, I used to work. I stayed in Kenya. You know, in Kenya, I don't have the documents to stay with. So my father, I talked to my father, and I told my father, I need documents. So he refused. So I really got a lawyer man who processed for me the identification card this one, and this is African passport.
Yeah.
So after staying, life in Kenya, at least before it was a little bit better, because I used to cook mahamri, bisheti, so to do survivals. So and I really got, we can say I really went to Gumbaro school, and I got certificate. And after staying last year, and I decided this life kumeumana, maisha ya Ruto tutawezana nayo.
Ni kwa ngumu.
Juu unaweka pesa kwa biashara inaanguka. Au juu utafanya. Hata saa mbili unaweza kwenda kupiga malaya, hakuna pesa unapata. And at that time I was huge. Even people they used to trust me, Mama Soweto. I was HIV positive. Even sometimes you find somebody giving me ARVs. But me, I'm not HIV positive, I'm negative. What I was suffering is diabetes, and I want to explain to you how that illness just came. I didn't even knew is it hereditary or it just came on its own. So last year vile nimaliza kuna maisha ni ngumu, nikaamua acha hii mwaka nikafanya set books. I used to, watu wananijua kwa mashule. I used to I won't say the company because sitaki ni haribu kampuni jina, unajua mtu atashangaa au did you employ again. Nimefanya set books kwa nafasi look. Nimefanya kwa shule za Meru, Embu na Ukambani na Western. So I really got some roles. So nikaona kazi mimi hainifit. Sasa unakana watoto wa dada yako. In the city there's some relative, my step sister. So unajua yeye mwenyewe pia alienda kwa Saudi Arabia. So mimi nikasema acha nikae na watoto wake. We need to feed them. So sometimes unafanya unalipa pesa kidogo, unajua it depends with your role. Then it has pressure because you must go for rehearsals. Rehearsals is time consuming. Because cramming a whole book, sometimes you are given 6 set books of Fathers of Nations, Bembea, you can say Majitu, and others. So mimi nikapata njia, nikaambia kuna wakati nilikuwa nikiongea, nikasema sasa naomba Mungu, kuna agent. Mama alikuwa anapelekana nje. But huyo mama nilikuwa nafanya kazi, akaniambia kuna agent anapelekana, ameniambia kuna free visa inatafuta mtu. Uko na passport? Nikamwambia niko na passport. So akaniambia wewe kwanza vile vile unakuwa umechangamka kwa kazi. Uzuri naye sikatai. Umalaya pia niko sawa. Na pia nini? Pia naona pia kwa kazi pia niko sawa. Pia kwa lebara niko sawa. Nimejituma pale zote. Hii nyingine kibackfire kwa nyingine. Unajua acha nikwambie, mimi naambia tu mtu kweli. Umalaya imelea watu. So mimi nikasema acha nifanye kazi, nikarudi Saudi. Process tu
another chance now ya kwenda
but ya Kenya. But ya Kenya.
Okay.
Passport yangu iko tu hapa ya Kenya vizuri. Kuja sasa na land. Kumbe sisi na nyongo huko, kumbe nikajua kiteke siku najua kama kitana kuniramba. Nikajua nimepukana kumbe maroho pia zinafuataka mtu. Poverty si kitu rahisi kuitoa. Let me go there. Ile nilijionea YouTube sana kuongea. Mwarabu anakwambia fagia nyumba ya kuku na bado ukifagia anakwambia urudie tena. Na anakuchapa. Alafu inafika mpaka mahali umesha tu hiyo uchafu. Watu wake pia ndio hao wanakufanyia madharau au vijana wake. Unajua sasa when in Saudi Arabia, women and men they do not associate.
Okay.
Women on their own. So hata kujua. Unajua pia mimi ni mang'aa, mimi najua hata pia mimi najulikana mimi ni mang'aa. Kaamwambia unijui. Kanipa passport. Mimi nikafanya kazi. Nilifanya karibu miezi miwili juu nilikaa Saudi Arabia miezi minne nikadipotiwa. So nikasema acha nifanye nini? Wacha nijikaze nje ifunguke. Rafiki akaniambia hapana, vile mimi nikamwambia rafiki yangu mwingine kwa simu mimi nahangaika. Nifanye nini? Akaniambia do what? Kemboi. So Kemboi. Kenda kana marafiki zangu, kumbe rafiki yangu kumbe sijaijua, kumbe kuna marafiki zangu kumbe wanafanya kazi ya kuuza simu tu Saudi Arabia. So siku anajua na marafiki zangu wanajifanya kazi ya kuuza simu tu, unajua wanakuambia tu hii ni njia short. Kuna Mafilipino kwa hapo unashangaa, unajua pia hata mimi siwezi kataa. Unajua kuna mwingine unashangaa mpaka mwingine anaringa to an extent mpaka unaangalia mtu kulika kwake kwani ni slave queen. Na ni mwanaume. Na akijekelea anakula chakula mpaka anafanya hivi, unapata mtu akikula vidole hivi Filipino. Uko na shanga ni mweupe kweli, ni brown skin, but look at it, you start even laughing. Unaona, unajiuliza kwani hii ni face mtu anakuja kutolea. So he was kind of smart. Oh, I need cookies. You really wonder, oh my gosh, is this man? Na alikuwa na makastoma wengi. So kumbe akaniambia tu, don't worry my friend. Unajua katokea mimi nilikuwa na shape. Juu nilikuwa pia mnono kidogo, kama mwili ukiangalia mwili inakaa kama mjaka, kama mwenye mwizi. Unajua sisi hata pia sisi wenye mwizi na usukuma kwa mwili kidogo. Sasa siku moja nimefanya harakati hiyo malaya, nalipa nyumba tunang'ang'ana tu hivyo. Sasa siku moja nikatoka nje. Unajua I don't have the passport, my passport my employer has it. Na alikuwa kitafuta.
So when you go there you give the passport to your employer.
Because you know they use kafara system. You are like a slave. In their country. You know most of the agents they lie that you are going to work, but you know is a system. So sometimes you find even an employee may be crying in Saudi Arabia, but it is hard for him to be held by the government to ship to care. Unasikia mimi akisema unataka Saudi Arabia. Juu tayari ulishakubali kusaini hizo matasi. So the contract lazima iishe. So nikashikwa nikapelekwa kwa jela. So hiyo process yenyewe nikiwa kwa jela. Nikaanza kugonjeka. Unajua pia kwa jela pia si rahisi. Mambo pia inafanyika, mambo mbaya unatumika vibaya. Mimi hata walinitumia vibaya wengine, hata mgongo sina kuwa na shida ya mgoko. So nikaanza kukonda mwili, nikashanga mbona na reduce. Na pia pressure unajua pia ile mwili pressure ndio ikazidi. So kuna ule mtu ule wa jela anaangalia, wanaweza kusema kuna mgonjwa wakaenda kaita huyo zini mzungu ni nani? Ndio kuniangalia akanipima kila kitu. HIV kuniangalia akanitoa damu hapa. Nikapatikana kuna diabetes na akanipima pressure akanika ile kitu. Akanika kitu. Pressure ilikuwa juu. So do you know, uzuri wangu mimi naweza sema ni Mungu tu. Pia alinipata tu mimi pia mdomo ya kuongea. I know to express myself in English. That British man I explained to him, akimwambia matibabu nikamwambia hivi na hivi na hivi. So mzungu mmoja akakuja huyo wa kutetea watu. Unajua he was from England. Akaniongeleshea passport yangu ni passport huo mzungu mtu akakatilia passport yangu. So mimi nikadipoti kama mzigo. Nikarudi Kenya.
Hii ni mara nyingine unadipotiwa from a different country.
Juu Egypt nilidipotiwa kwa but unajua Saudi Arabia nilidipotiwa. So nikarudi maisha Kenya nikaanza. So unajua pia lazima pia Kenya utafute vitu mlango wa nyuma. So sasa hivi nimereplace passport na ndio hii. Nimetafuta kila kazi, hata nimejaribu kuongea na maji wanipeleke nchi majuu, akaniambia sasa Ruto ana kazi yao hizo free visa si rahisi. Hata nilikuwa juzi hii mambo ya Alfred Mutua. Wakiapply kumbe si free. Unaenda una deposit una register na 3k then unalipa commission ya 60k. Unapeleka wakatana hiyo 60k sina juu. Sasa inafanya hata biashara kuuza mabuyu kama unaweza kuona juu umeshaona video zangu. Kuna bia unauza mabuyu na kashata na hizi maambe. Sasa hizi na capital. Na ngana na maisha Kenya pia imekuwa hard. Unakuta hata saa hii kwamba anaweza kusaidia, hata nimejaribu kwenda Jakaranda because mimi nakuwa mtu wa Jakaranda. Najulikana kama Mama Soweto because that is my acting name stage. Juu hata sasa sema naweza fanya side because kuna pesa kidogo. Na pia natamani mtu anaweza pata kama hata mtu anaweza sasa na simu. I start nirudi online kwa TikTok, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I start showing people. Na hii story ati nijaitoa ati tunifurahisha ati mtu. Juu sasa hivi fika mahali mpaka hiyo simu tu nikatana juu sasa hii ili nani nakusumbua. Na it hasn't been easy. Juu sasa hii Kenya unajengangana juu watu lazima wakule watu wa dada yako. Sasa visa lenyewe lazima vile anaendelea huko nje. Jila labda kama unaona kama alipata ka sponsor kama mwanaume kanamweka na kumpa watoto wake. So mimi nimeamua tu wacha labda naweza pata mtu labda akanipeleka labda Switzerland kafanya kazi juu ile tabia niliachana, niko na experience. Unajua pia usikile nje unaweza fanya tabia. Unajua they say experience is the best teacher. Because they say there's a God of second chance. Juu nimepitia kimingi yake. Jota sasa hata kukula hata nisije, hata nimekuja hapa kwa hiyo zia kumi chai nasikia njaa najikaza. Na nimesema acha nijaribu bahati yangu, labda siwezi jua, labda hata Mungu Juu hata watu wajakana walinibaia damos, but biashara si rahisi. You put your effort, unang'ana. Mimi nakuwa kama watu wake, hata watu wananijua biashara nikuuza mabuyu. Mimi nimefanya sidebook, nimefanya nini biashara, kazi ya nyumba nimeshaifanya, isidi kuoria. But kuoria kazi yao andako umuoshe mpaka hadi hii inachoma nini? Hii menstrual period. Hizo masuruali. Huyu msichana ameniletea kazi ya, naona niko desperate. Unajua sina vitu full ng'ang'ane, but pesa nakupa ni pesa kidogo. Ingia na kutema makozi, uoshi hiyo choo na kumbusu bwana silo subu na hiyo kitu. Unajikaza. Sasa mimi nafanya nini kwa watu wetu? You find somebody replying to you negative comments ni kujitakia. Usione mtu akaenda Saudi Arabia tena jitakia. It is not
it's not easy.
It is not a situation. It is not a fault, or it is not that we can say the person he may deserve to go to that country, or a wish or his wish, because we can say that person may be desperate, is looking for something, has been looking for a job for too long, and there's no way. So kitu ninaweza sema, mimi naanza ambia watu usikuwa na tamaa kama mimi vile walikula pesa yangu.
Wasikuwe na tamaa.
Wasikuwe na tamaa. They should not be greedy. And they should wasikufe moyo, because huyu Mungu kuna njia za anafunguanga, at least unang'ang'ana nayo. Kama mimi for example saa hii hata ninakulanga neema tu ya Mungu. Na watu pia kunisaidia hata nikienda kwa story kwa YouTube, some of them they help me, and sometimes hata kwa dadangu nikiweka hata nikiwatengenezea njuu hizo nini wanauza tunapata kukula. But mimi natamani kwenda majuu. Juu Kenya hakuna kazi. Na hata kama kuna mtu anaweza nisaidia pesa capital, kwanza nikiongoja ni process iwe ndio niende. Mimi sina commission. Hata kama itakuwa kama ni South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, I'm ready, but mtu zaidi kunifanyia trafficking, because mimi mambo ya trafficking sitaki. Na naomba tu Mungu afungue njia. Because hata kama ni Dubs, Turkey, I've got experience na hii Europe, hata kama ni Switzerland, nasikia hata Luxembourg watu wanaenda sana. But mimi hiyo connection sina, na connection tu yangu ni Mungu anisaidie.
What kind of job now do you desire to go to do? Because hata kama you are talking about going to those countries, ni kazi gani sasa you have in mind?
I can say as a cleaner, even office manager, but you know that hizo lazima hizo kuwa experience. Cleaner si lazima kuwa experience. Even working as a waiter or waitress or waiter. Mimi mwanaume waiter in Canada, and you can say even ship cruiser. And hiyo caregiver naye lazima pia kuwa na makaratasi, but kuna vile hata kama ni Warabuni, unajua Dubai washughulikaki na hizo vitu, bora tu umeshatengeneza karatasi ile yote itapatikana. Hata kama ni kwa farm, I'm okay, I can work in the farm. Hata kuangalia maua na hivyo.
Just as a laborer.
Okay. Even hata naweza fanya pia mtu hata kama si majuu. Pia kama kuna mtu anatafuta mtu kufanyia kwa kampuni interview, but mimi sasa anaweza kuwa pia hata a good person interviewing people. Stories, na vile chukua stories kwa watu. And that's all, kama ni kampuni nafanyia hivyo.
Okay. You've been through too much because you see, by the end of the day we want to escape poverty. Na one thing, I don't want you to blame yourself of the things you've done. Sometimes we go to an extent because of trying to survive. That is something you've done thinking or feeling it's the best at that moment. I know, yes, it's wrong, but again, don't beat yourself up, feeling maybe it was too much. That is, you did the right thing at the time. You felt it was right. What is your biggest regret when it comes to everything?
My biggest regret is this. Do you know, when I started working, it has the biggest regret. Sometimes you find yourself being depressed. You start even dreaming those things which you are doing. And my biggest regret is I used to think that I would become a tycoon, but I became a poverty person, because when I was sending that money to Uganda, they eated all my money. That is my first biggest regret. And the second thing, it has affected me physically and mentally. Then that thing, I was greedy. I was greedy, and I thought I would become a tycoon, but where? And for the fourth thing, my fourth regret is I regret because I had more desire to become rich, to escape more poverty, but now I'm a poor person.
Okay.
But I can say I won't blame myself. Just thank God because experience is the best teacher. And even if there's a person maybe may want to send me money for business or you may want to help me, I can even give him my number, or I may give you my number, or if you want to help in terms of medication counseling, I'm ready.
Okay.
And I'm not even for a work for caretaker.
Okay. You can give out your number so that people can get to reach you.
My number is 011 27 59 090.
Is it available every time that maybe someone wants
Yes.
to reach you?
So if you want to reach me, or if I haven't taken a call, you might send me a text. Because even if there's a person who can give me a smartphone, so I start working, I'm ready.
Okay.
Because I may even become even a YouTube influencer or socialite, or even a TikTok socialite. Like for example, which is my friend, but you know, can even remember me. So I tell my God, let me one day we may meet pretty Vichy, most of the celebrities in the TikTok, we talk.
Okay. Thank you so much for speaking to us. I wish you well. Na venye nimekwambia, don't beat yourself so much on it. God ata come through. Urundishe health yako irundi vizuri so that you can continue doing even the businesses that tunasema, na pia God afungue njia, you are able to make a better living with for yourself. Nashukuru sana for showing up. Mungu akubariki. That is the story of Mama Soweto. That's what he calls himself. Umeweza kusikia. As I said at the beginning, the quest for riches has taken a new dimension, and personally, I cannot judge him. I told him he did whatever he did that time because he felt it was the best thing to do. Let him not beat himself up. The best thing now is to rise. That is the rock bottom. The best thing is to rise amid the disease that he's suffering from. He's saying he's now diabetic. I mean, he saw that. Let's come through for him. Do not judge. Comment section, please be gentle on this story because I'm open up, and it is not in the nature of men to open up, but he did. So let's hold his hands. Kama uko na kazi or that opportunity, he says that it would be good if he goes back to those countries mentioned hapo. Let's come through for him. I have been your host, Masinaro, always doing the most, being inspired by the Most High. See you in the next video, and let's support him.